now go on to the roundtable discussion of the day, where we are talking about rethinking offline sales and what is the blueprint for the new normal. So let me, after this very wonderful session, introduce our panel members for this roundtable discussion. Chairing the session will be Mr. Zahid Mohammed Mahmood, Director, Silver Line Realty Private Limited, Governing Body Member, BRAI, Regional Director, CIRIL. Mr. Zahid Mahmood is a second generation real estate professional and he specializes in property investment advisory, real estate development consultancy, agency management, and a wide range of property solutions. His extensive global networking has helped in the development of a large client base of high net worth individual investors and multinational organizations across India, US, West Asia, and Europe. He consults on infrastructure development and facility management for an elite global clientele and has played a pivotal role in the growth of the ITES sector in Bengaluru and has also brought in many hospitality and retail brands to the city and country. Mr. Zahid Mahmood, a very warm welcome to you. Let me now introduce our experts of the discussion in an alphabetical order. Adil Altaf, Senior Vice President, Sales and Customer Service, Raheja Developers Limited, is here with us in this discussion. Mr. Altaf is a real estate professional with over 18 years of rich experience in sales and customer relationship management, business development, and team management. Presently, he is associated with Raheja Developers Limited as Senior Vice President. Let me now introduce our next speaker, Mr. Alok Gupta, Director, Graphis Ads. Alok Gupta has over the last 15 years brought in accountability and professionalism in all functions of the organization's working. He is connected with various associations like Entrepreneurs Organization, Roundtable, Indian Angel Network, CII Young Indians, and PhD Chambers of Commerce. Currently, he is serving CII Young Indians Delhi as chair for Air Pollution Vertical. His aim is to incubate new businesses that are of social relevance, build them from scratch, and make sure they contribute to the nation's growth. Our next very eminent speaker on this panel is Mr. Jayesh Rathore, Director, The Guardian's Real Estate Advisory. Jayesh Rathore is one of the founding members of the Guardian's Real Estate Advisory and holds a portfolio of the marketing, product development, strategy functions. And in total of 20 years of work experience, his career highlight has been the 13 years of resourceful work at Kaltaru in the capacity of marketing, product, and research head. At the Guardians, his able understanding and experience of product design has helped the organization add unprecedented value to projects consulted by it. He's currently working towards deploying best-in-class processes and introducing technology-led tools for the organization and its clients. So this was our eminent panel for the roundtable discussion. I hand it over to Mr. Zahid Mahmood to take forward the conversation. You are on mute, Mr. Mahmood. Mr. Mahmood, your mic is switched off.
Good evening. Thank you, Swapna, for the lovely introduction. Really appreciate it. And I think we had some wonderful sessions during this conclave, this earlier part of the day. I welcome my co-panelists and would like to go straight away and give a brief talk about what my views of this topic is.
Mr. Mahmood, before we go ahead, let me also introduce our final panel member, Mr. Sudeep Bhatt, who has just joined here. He's the President and National Head of Sales at M3M India. He's also joined here. And let me introduce Mr. Sudeep Bhatt. He's one of the key pillars of M3M India leadership team and is working as the President, Sales, Marketing and CRM. And he comes with a rich experience of 23 years with proven track record of both on-ground sales as well as strategic campaigns for the end customers. He truly is the force to reckon with in the real estate industry. Mr. Bhatt, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Mahmood, please go ahead.
Thank you, Swapna. It's wonderful to have this great panelist here with me. Very experienced, seem to be well versed in the industry, have a mix of young people and experienced people here. So I think we've all experienced this pandemic. Pandemic has created a situation where we need to think out of the box, innovative ways to reach out to customers. Vaccination drives are happening across the country. Yes, the fear is still there that the third wave might hit us, but life has to go on and we have to move on. Well, housing is a priority. We all need to make sure this industry is addressed and we make sure we are addressing the market. Indian cities are growing rapidly with major movement of population from the rural areas into the urban cities. There are a lot of employment opportunities in the cities today, and this is really adding on to the demand in the current market scenario. Yes, people are willing to travel that additional mile to go in for that excellent project. Now, with the development of good roads, highways, metro networks, and all this is adding on to good development here. Yes, finance is another aspect which is helping us get affordable loans at very attractive prices. Yes, also I feel that RERA has really ensured that the customer interest is protected, and the trust factor is very important, that we deliver the products on time, and builders need to ensure that the product is as per the marketing brochure. And whatever those sleek marketing presentations, the virtual reality presentations we have, we need to ensure that we deliver this. Our marketing team has to go out and sell, but end of the day, the backend has to deliver that. Well, it's always a dream that we sell our projects at the drawing board stage. But the real success of a project is when we see those lights coming on there and those happy families staying there. Well, homes are built across the country, and we need to reach out to those right home buyers. This is a challenging time. Now we need to look at innovative ways, whether we are going to plan a campaign, whether it's going to be above the line marketing campaign or below the line marketing campaign, or whatever works best for us. That is something which effectively each player has to look at it and see how it suits their market there. National players have a different role, and the local regional players have a different role. Selling a mobile phone probably is the easiest factor in online marketing, but selling homes online is a different ballgame by itself. But at the same time, a mobile phone is kind of become the most crucial tool or device which is available in all our hands today. This is available with all segments, all classes, all groups, all segments, young, old, everybody has this. So a lot of campaigns today seem to be focusing on a mobile phone, whether we need to post a social media post or we need to reach a website, we are probably looking at a mobile phone. Yes, we have to make sure this happens. The developers have to offer something beyond. You see, now everybody is offering a swimming pool or a clubhouse or a children's play area. But in my view, in this time, pandemic time, everybody is talking of high-speed Wi-Fi networks. Probably this should be looked at and should be available across common areas, common facilities, and the list can go on. Another very important factor is innovative ways, maybe to have a car servicing center in your project. So these things probably add on to our segment of the market. Well, I see, primary sales is probably something which is the focus of most developers from here. But at the same time, I feel a secondary sale market, secondary sale buyer market is also very important. If a secondary sale market is not existing or not active, then I see the primary sale market falling flat on its feet. So my view is that, at the same time, we need to focus on the secondary market, and as developers and as brand managers, focus should always be to sell a product what the customer needs, just not sell what we have. And that will take us a long way. In my view, that would take us a long way. Channel partners are also a very, very important cog in the wheel of driving sales today and in the years to come. I feel developers today probably can, look at, adding channel partners on the website of each developer where transparency is maintained and the whole network of available projects are available there. So I think now I would request Jayesh ji to kind of give us some kind of his views of how he is, suggesting and looking at how the market has grown, how this pandemic and how developers should kind of differently market their product in today's scenario. Jayesh ji, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahmood, for giving this opportunity. So, sharing our experience during this pandemic, especially for the discussion, for what we are having it, that since the lockdown got started, obviously there was a lot of fear about what will happen, whether how the most important reality sector, which is after agriculture, will behave, how the demand supply will happen. But knowing that roti, kapda, and makan is a basic human need, people cannot avoid of all these three. They may take a gap, they may take time to make a decision, but with the strong feeling that once the lockdown will open, we will surely see this demand which is getting piled up will come back and people will come forward to make a purchase, because home was the only remedy as far as the COVID and lockdown was concerned. So since June 20 till March 21, we at Guardians must have sold 26 lakh square feet, of which around, I will say in terms of revenue wise, 7,500 crores worth inventory, which is once the lockdown got open. And in this, 67% was an affordable home. So sharing our experience that affordable homes, especially in the city of Bombay, where 1 and 2 BHK, anything less than 1 CR for 1 BHK, anything less than 1.5 CR for 2 BHK, has done fabulously well. At marketing front, the approach has to be changed, and we actually adopted it, that nobody was moving out of the home. So if my team has to develop some kind of interaction with them online, then virtual platforms were required to explain the project to the customer, to the broker, so that the required information to tease them, to give the positive outlook was given. Having said that, our experience was maximum conversion has happened once the customer has visited the site. I mean, in our experience says that online purchase, as far as real estate is concerned, India is still not mature enough where people will go online, you explain them project virtually, etc. But they will still make a decision once he comes to the site. So this is broadly speaking our experience as far as the pandemic is concerned.
It's wonderful to hear this, Jayesh. I mean, it's really heartwarming to hear that that's wonderful sales have happened, and you have adapted to this dynamic situation and worked along with how the market requirement is there. Let me go to the next panelist. I would like to go to somebody who's probably in the digital marketing space. Let me get Alok onto the panel. Alok, my question to you is, you see developers, how do you suggest, keeping this pandemic in mind, how do you suggest a pandemic campaign should be designed and how best the industry will adapt to such situation? Yes, we understand that, as Jayesh ji said, that people are not willing to just buy on the internet. They would like to go on the site, visit there. So your view is, how do we do a kind of a campaign which is a campaign which comprises of both offline and online kind of a situation? Alok, to you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good to be on a panel wherein we have other real estate players, and I am the only one who's representing advertising and marketing as a industry. So somewhere down the line, I have the option to play devil's advocate also. But to be honest, talking about pandemic and advertising and marketing around this scenario, what we have seen and observed is that, as Jayesh rightly told, that the real estate buying as a phenomena would obviously always happen when the end consumer visits the builder site. But the pre-site experience, or I would rather say that, the way a customer has to be pulled to a site, that now is getting decided virtually or through social media or online. So I was attending a session from Google, and what they suggested was that, 80% of the buying decision today happens online or it happens on mobile. So as a real estate owner, our pitch or our pitch to our real estate clients is that, you have to be ready for a customer who is tech savvy, who is digitally enabled. unfortunately, most of the clients today are still not digitally enabled. So and the basic examples that we can give is that, okay, don't look beyond anything. Just open your own website on your mobile. If it is taking you more than 3 seconds, then there's a data that suggests 50% of your prospective customers have already left you. So the challenge today is that, you have to handle the new clientele, the impatient client. And that impatient client is on mobile, he's on laptop, he's working through his home, he's on Wi-Fi. So the challenge is to be virtually enabled. You don't have to sell. You don't have to have a payment gateway on your website to take the check, to take a 1 lakh rupee token amount. That is not required. You just have to be virtually enabled so that your project is visible all across the platforms. And at the end of the day, your previous experience with regards to sales, or your primary customer, or the customer which has been living in the previous deliveries of the client, they have to be your brand ambassadors. If they are good enough, if they are satisfied, then sales is not really a challenge. We have a lot of real estate players in Delhi NCR who have a great past record, who have a great credentials record. And the day they launch their new project, it automatically gets sold, even without the site visits. The only reason is that their past credentials, though it might not be a key to the future home, but it speaks volume. So it's a various mix of things. But yeah, the pitch today is you have to be virtually enabled for your new age clientele. And that's where we help our clients to convert all the processes which are so far physical in nature to ensure that they get either through CRM or through ERPs, they get digitized. That's where the key lies.
Thank you, Alok. Let me take the next question to Adil. Adil, I'm sure you, being a person in the sales, probably interact a lot with customers. Now, everybody realizes that we have to have an online presence, but having an online presence at the same time, we need to ensure that that online presence is properly generated, properly guarded, and how your teams interact with those people. What happens typically when you get a lead? People reach out to these customers, and how your team reaches out to the customer is very important. So that is one part of the question I addressed to Adil. And other part of the question I would add to you is, how is Raheja looking at the situation in the pandemic? How are you guys, handling the situation, and how do you see things progressing online? How the sales are happening?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Zahid, giving me opportunity to speaking in this platform. So first of all, we all have to understand, it is not we who has to sell the property. It is the customer who has to buy the property. He has to decide the property. Virtually, he may shortlist the property, but at the end, when he has to close the property, he would like to see the property physically. He would like to visit the site, then only he can finalize the property. So even what we have noticed in our past experience also, customer referral scheme is working very good in NCR market, provided you have given a good customer experience to your existing customers. So there are various projects, especially when we talk about Raheja, we don't have to go for a marketing, and our existing customer, they become our brand ambassador to sell the properties to us. So even I think this is the first time in my past experience, I have noticed all three markets are working together. They are doing fantastic. When we talk about residential market is doing fine in NCR. This initially what we have seen commercial. When we see good market for 2 years for commercial, then it turns back to residential. We see 2 years a good market for residential projects. But this is the first time when residential, commercial, and affordable all are doing together. They are doing fantastic. So even the number are exciting us as far as Raheja is concerned. We are very much connected with our channel community, and we are doing aggressive. We are going with the digital marketing and all. But at the end, we also get a good number of bookings through our referral, through our existing customers.
Thank you, Adil. Thank you, Adil. My next question is to Sandeep. Sandeep, I understand that NCR is a very, very active market, very buoyant market, and I'm sure there's a lot of action happening there. But you see, nationally, you see, we have a situation where you see we need to get the end users into the market. You see, now today the time and age is gone where you see where you would have these speculators coming and buying and booking an apartment. They'll say, I would like to buy 10 apartments, 20 apartments, 50 apartments. That kind of situation, I feel, especially down south, is kind of changed quite a lot. Today, it's kind of an end user driven market, you see. Now, to ensure that you get those end users there, because you need to do a lot of selling. You know, if you don't sell that product to that end user, he has so many options in the market. You have in the NCR, as you've got Rahejas, you've got yourself there in the market, plus I'm sure there's so many other players there. So how do you focus that, you stand out differently from those others? How do you ensure that you are different from the others? And how do you showcase your product?
So first and foremost, good evening, everyone. Zahid, it is good to connect with you again.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's been a while that we spoke, but I think this digital medium is working fine. Adil, Jayesh, Alok, hello. Good to have you all here. So first and foremost, I'll start with what Marshall Goldsmith said. He said, what got you here won't take you there. So first and foremost thing is to understand that, in the current situation where we are right now, if you look back from your past experience and think that can take you forward and take you ahead, I think that is the biggest mistake that each one of us would be committing. At MGM, we've been fortunate to be blessed with the leadership who's been kind of thinking very, very proactively. I understand the biggest challenge is to reach out to the end consumer and have your message be communicated loud and clear, such that they understand what is it that they're wanting. So for one to be heard clearly, it is important that the right message is sent out through the right medium. So digital platforms are working very, very well for us. Second, very, very important thing from an end user's perspective to understand that they've been kind of taken for a ride in the past. So if you look at the stressed market size in India at the moment, so it's just almost about 1,85,000 or 87 lakhs crores worth of stressed market. So these are investors who have been stuck in various projects across India. So that's a very alarming number to look at. So very, very important thing, Zahid, is to look at one's ability to deliver and deliver what the market requires. So you just cannot be thinking one size fits all kind of a model will work. So that customization, that personalization, and digitization, these are the two key things that we've been working on. Our communication to people has been very, very personalized. We've been able to reach out. Our market activation, both from our channel perspective and our ability to reach out to the market, whether going through ATL, BTL mediums, whether through the print or the electronic media. We've been fortunate that we've been able to do a 360-degree campaign, which has allowed us to reach the pole position in the Northern India market, and that allows us to be in the number one position. So important thing here is to kind of think out of the box. So you really have to come out of your comfort zone and really believe that something different has to be done, because the current buyer is somebody who is looking at a home. He is looking at a bigger house, he's looking at a better house. So that market is certainly there. If you got the product and the ability to reach out, I think half the battle is done.
Go on, Sudeep. I think somebody gave me a mistake.
No, so I made my point, Zahid. So that's what it is.
Thank you, Sudeep. Let me go back to Jayesh again. Jayesh, I was just contemplating about the secondary market. Everybody seems to be focusing on the primary market. My view is that a secondary market is very important to make sure the primary market gets supported. Now today, if a first-time home buyer comes in today, he buys a home, a 2-bedroom home. Now tomorrow, if he wants to sell and buy another property, if the secondary market doesn't support, you see that there is a challenge here, you see. Now, I personally of the view that, the secondary market is very important. How do you think we should help the secondary market prosper at the same time?
So I will share my experience, Mahmood, as far as secondary market is concerned, especially in this pandemic situation where anybody who is looking for a home prefer to have a ready possession apartment. Certainly, whichever launches happen in the primary market are mostly under construction stage, and we'll see the construction period 3 to 4 years down the line type. So any buyer who is genuinely looking for a home in the pandemic, staying in the rent, like most of my observation says that anybody who was staying on a rent, he said, I better start paying EMI, but have my own home rather than paying EMI and, buy the primary home and then keep paying the EMI and the rental together, which is not possible. So certainly secondary market has started doing well at that front. Second, a joint family which was staying together in the city of Bombay, where two brothers started working from home, kids started from studying. So they also, understood that, no, I want immediate home. Like if 2 months of lockdown get extended or happened, second wave, third wave, then I might as well have a home. And hence secondary market has started doing well. Now, as far as marketing is concerned, and if I want to sell my home, which I purchased a year before and now want to put it in the secondary market, the best media is one is a local broker network, and secondly is the portals which are available, which gives a good, genuine leads those who are looking for. So, sharing my experience, though we deal mostly into the primary market only, but having said that, whatever the data which we have observed or the association which we have a channel partner, the pandemic has given good boost to the secondary market also. But also with respect to Bombay city, the fear that if I buy today home and if the building goes for redevelopment, I'm again homeless. So any property which are more than 10 years or 20 years old, people have not shown interest with that fear that again I want to go on a rent, again I will wait for the new home to be at. So any product which is 5 to 10 years old is doing very well as far as secondary market is concerned.
Thank you, Jayesh.
Zayed, I would want to add something here, if you allow me.
Sure, please. Sir.
So if I've understood your question right, you're primarily wanting to understand and stressing upon the fact that the secondary market also has to be boosted up for the initial investors' interest to be protected in the longer run. Is that what the question was, Zayed?
Because if the idea is if the primary market has to boost, you see the sales have to keep on happening in the secondary market also.
Absolutely, yes.
You need to sell your old home to buy a new home. You see, especially in this pandemic, people have realized their existing home might be too small. They might want to go and buy a larger home. Correct. So if you need to sell that home, you need to sell it fast. So the secondary market is not buoyant, then he's not going to come in and buy that new home in the primary market.
All right. So Zayed, I got your question. So let me answer it from both the perspectives. So from a developer side, it is important to also look at that the inventory that the client is currently having, it needs to get liquidated for him to get into the inventory that the developer is willing to push, right? So that's very important. We did a campaign called Port Your Property. You would have heard about that campaign, so which was something to do with this, and also our understanding there is a huge chunk of unresolved money in the market, which has been stuck for various reasons in the various parts of the country. So that was our initiative, MTRIM's initiative, to look at that pain area for the client. Zayed, also it is so very important, and each one of us would agree that as developers, the only way that the product has a premium is to continuously add value to that product. If you're not able to add value to your product and keep upping the game consistently, the sheen will lose out. So what is relevant today, as I have started selling, might not be too relevant, say about 18 months or 2 years down the line when I'm about to hand over the keys. So my ability to innovate and also to add value during this 12, 18 months, 24-month period is so very critical for me to ensure that the secondary market for my product is kept intact, and people who have joined early are also able to exit if there is a certain segment of an investor money coming into the product at an initial stage. So that was my piece to add on to your question.
See, I would also look at it this way, Sudeep. Now, let us say, in the car automobile market,
yeah,
you have a very, very innovative way where you get your old car into the showroom and exchange your.
Correct.
So can't the developers look at a model where, hey, I have this home here with me. Let me give this to you and I pay you the balance of the money. So what happens here? You are kind of getting rid of your inventory at some level. So I think at some level the developers probably should actively pursue this also, because then we are killing two birds with one stone. You see, you can offload that in the secondary market, can be offloaded at some point of time. This is my suggestion for whatever I absorb. So I don't know your take on this, Sudeep. What do you say?
So Zahid, if you look at it, you just don't port your car. You port your mobile number, you port your insurance policies. So you port a whole lot of things, right? So that portability eventually had to come into real estate as well. We made a small initiative and we've been phenomenally successful. Just that this is a new animal to be tamed. So there are a whole lot of legal aspects that one has to look into. Unfortunately, from our perspective, from our experience, I can tell you that our business is not very structured and regulated. Zahid, if you understand where I'm coming from, and half the time, so as far as car is concerned, so whatever be the condition of your car, it would have some value associated, but then if you really understand this stressed market segment, you would be amazed to see the kind of money that has gone into projects and with developments and with developers, where there's no clue about where the project is, who the developer is, will it even see the light of the day. So for those cases, to really kind of take accountability and take financial cognizance of that particular asset, and to give a certain advantage to that previous buyer into a new segment. So these are challenges that one has to kind of go past. But fundamentally, your thought is right. It has to be done sooner or later. There is some support that the government ought to bring into this segment as well, because as I said before, the market size here is about 1.87 lakh crores pan India. That's huge.
That's absolutely huge. No doubt about it.
So how we address that, and very quickly I'll add up that if somebody wants to sell his 1 BHK and buy 2 BHK, in Bombay, how we do that, because if we sell, then rent and EMI both will start together, which is not accepted to the buyer. So innovative payment schedule like subvention scheme where he has to pay only 5 or 10% stamp duty, and the EMI, etc., all burden is on the developer, certainly at an additional cost to the base per square feet type. But customer is willing to have this kind of deal where he doesn't want to sell his existing home today, yet he can purchase the new home and upgrade it.
Thanks, Jayesh. So let me look at a new dimension now. Let's get Alok back into this discussion. Alok, now typically I was trying to figure out from you, which is the best medium. Now everybody talks about, online marketing, whether you have a Google, whether you have a Facebook, all these mediums are there. Now, how genuine are those leads which are coming in from there? You see now, Facebook and Google, it's big money for them. You see, probably they look at, milking this real estate industry in a big way, because real estate probably players have a lot of money to burn, because you see the money what they spend on this is just a fraction of a project cost. They don't even think, hey, there's nothing, we're just spending that money. But when the smaller players who need to, look at selling, especially in the secondary market, have these problems of, looking at this. So that's one way. What do you suggest, and how do you think one can overcome this? Which is the best medium one should look at?
So the answer is very simple. I would rather suggest to all the clients who are listening that, you have to eventually go and take a horses for courses policy. There is no specific straight line answer to sales, as all the salespeople know. The problem lies with the fact that you see a lot of clients have a very fixed mindset when it comes to selling property. I've seen clients sell a luxury condominium, the same style they sell a mid-income housing flat. What they have to do is they just take a cover jacket of Times of India or an ET and they just place their ads. We try and convince the clients that no, this is not the way to sell a luxury project. It is more of a personalized sales that you have to do. But somewhere down the line, we have our own limitations. But thankfully, the younger generation, which is coming into the picture in a lot of cases, does understand that point of view, and they are willing to experiment. See, social media also has various platforms. I mean, Facebook is a platform, Twitter is a platform, LinkedIn is a platform. But tomorrow, if you say that, okay, I have this project, it's worth 50 lakhs, and I'll sell this on Facebook also, and I'll sell this on LinkedIn also, it just won't make sense. Eventually, the basics of marketing is that, you have to get your customer identification right. You have to get down to the basics and get your target audience right. That's the first thing any client has to do. And that's where most of them don't really, honestly speaking, most of them don't start on a positive note.
So what you're saying, Alok, is that you see a product maybe which is a 1 crore below, probably sells better on a medium Google or a Facebook. Is that what you're trying to say?
It can sell, but again, see, a 1 crore and below project would require a different customer than a 1 crore and above project. So today on a social media platform, it is very easy to segment your market and place your ads to the clientele which is relevant. So let's talk about LinkedIn only. You have a CXO target audience there, which can easily be tapped for a 2 crore, 3 crore project. But if you don't get that dynamics right, then you're just wasting your cost per lead. I agree to your point that cost per lead on digital is less, but that is less because your selling price is very high. Nothing else. I mean, if you're getting a lead at 400, 500 bucks for a 2 to 3 crore property, it is worth it. But if the segmentation is right, then the cost is 400 to 500. If the segmentation is wrong, some people pay more than 10x of this cost also and still don't get it right. So first come first, just get the target audience right, sit with your sales team, brainstorm internally for a couple of days, get your agency on board. Don't let your agency go to the procurement guys. I mean, today what is happening is that, the strategic agencies, the marketing agencies, they have to deal with the procurement people. Mm-hmm. So procurement people's KRA is to get the price down. But is price the criteria for the agency? That a client should know better than the agency.
Thank you, Alok. Let me go to Adil. Adil, everybody has these, model homes. We've got these, virtual reality kind of products where, a show home can be shown virtually in today, especially in a today's scenario. So as a group, are you doing this, and how successful are you with this kind of, virtual reality kind of products? You think, this helps you? And are you looking at, technology growing? When technology grows, maybe, products from the gaming industry probably could be added on to, products where a walkthrough or inspection can happen through, which, probably gives you the real touch and feel factor of a product. So what has your experience been on this, Adil?
Zahid, as far as commercial property is concerned, people can understand maths through a digital platform or through a virtual meeting. They can understand it. When it comes to buying a home, people will love to visit the site, and then on the moment they will experience it, then only they can finalize the property. Even in our case, as far as the commercial property, when we are selling commercial property, we have seen we are getting good response through SMS at this point of time, and we've been able to get good number of leads through SMS. So when we are selling a residential property, it is very much important that you have to convince customer to visit the site. Then only you can expect the good number of closures will happen.
So let's say typically, say you get a lead, from one of these social media campaigns, or you get some numbers. Now, how do you reach out to these customers? I'm sure you have a CRM team which calls up to these potential customers. So what kind of conversion rate do you find from these, calls? How many people of those come to your site actually?
Our topmost priority is to bring the client to the site. So then if I have to tell you the ratio, so the number of leads which we get, we've been able to convince approximately 15 to 20% customers wherein we've been successful to bring them to the site. So out of 15-20%, we've been able to get approximately 10% of the closure.
So as developers, do you kind of do a telephonic campaign where people, do cold calling and things like that? Do you think that is also a good way to, market your product, or it's kind of counterproductive where people get irritated and hassled after some time? Hey, just don't keep bugging me kind of situation.
As I told you earlier, especially NCR market is doing excellent at this point of time, and people are looking for a bigger homes. and especially the residential market. And we have seen the good number of transactions happen in last 2 months. So we expect the same thing is going to happen for throughout the year. And I think by end of the year, we will have a good number which will excite us towards the end.
Okay. So let me put another question to Sudeep. Sudeep, you've been handling sales across various channels. Now, what has your experience been? I mean, would you like to give us a particular experience, where you found a customer who you kind of sold him a property literally? I mean, it didn't have to be, physically talking to them and convincing them to buy this particular property against that. So would you like to share some kind of experience like that?
So, Zaid, the question that you asked to Adil a while ago. So let me kind of add on to it and then come to the question that you asked. So typically, I think telephonic is important, but then, it has to be, not one way. You just cannot barge into somebody's space and try create a sales opportunity. So it is very important that, Alok made a very valid point that you should know what your TG is and then find out the right medium to reach out to them. As a lead get generated, the first level of connect that the client experiences is so very important. If he understands that his requirement has been understood right and he is in good safe hands, of course he does his piece of due diligence before taking a conversation forward. But that level of confidence that you instill in the client in your first level of conversation, which is our primary sales team, that first level of contact, so very important for them to be really on top of the craft. And from then on, that journey moves ahead. Adil made a valid point. If the client is not being able to, if you're not able to bring the client to the site, I think whatever good work has been done will all get undone. So essentially the game is to reach out to your target audience, have the right connect such that that transition from a telecall or maybe a SMS query or maybe a web query gets converted into a conversation which leads to a site visit and eventual closure. It can happen either through our teams directly or through our channel partner teams. Both have to be really trained to the topmost levels. So that's what I wanted to add to what you spoke to Adil about. Now, as far as my experience with clients is concerned, Zaid, I'm kind of a little old school in this, and I firmly believe that a happy customer is your best bet in the market.
Absolutely.
Is your best bet in the market. No amount of digital, print, ATL, BTL, or whatever else you can think of will ever give you the kind of returns that a referral business will give you. So the most important thing which we kind of many a times miss out on is our ability to reach out to people who've already experienced who we are. So to my mind, the most important thing, and I've been doing this work for 23 years, Zaid, and what I've realized is you need not always sell. If you have a keen ear to listen to what he's wanting, half the time your thing is done and sorted. And for me, it happens most of the time. If you're thinking, if your listening is right, you need not get into active sales. Your work, right, will be done. It'll be sorted. Happens most of the time. Somebody, an investor who's come to book one unit with us, one commercial unit, might have the pocket to look at a few more units. Invariably, that is how it happens. If the pocket allows, they will look at booking multiple units. And this is exactly what I keep telling my team as well and my channel partners as well, that service orientation has to be right. Please understand, we are not somebody who can dictate terms in this business. Just listen right. And the current situation is where from those days where one could say, buy because I am telling you should buy, to a stage where you get into a consulting mode. So end of the day, we are managing one of the asset classes for the client. And this happens to be one of the top-notch asset classes, one of the most expensive ones. So our ability to be acting as consultants, as portfolio managers, and giving a right factual advice to our client probably is the key to success. So have I answered your question, Zaid?
Yes, thank you, Sudeep. I think we seem to have run out of time.
I just quickly have a point to add, sorry, to Bhajan. So one of the examples that I can quickly think of is, considering digital marketing as a project for real estate clients. We all know that today tech industry is facing huge headwinds. I mean, the increments, the add-on packages that the techies are today getting is unheard of in the last 20 years also. but I am yet to see a project from any real estate line which focuses on this industry as a niche for digital marketing. You may have 50 odd features in your project, but a techie would have a specific requirement of 5 to 7 to 10 features. So today, digital as a platform offers you to have that data and micro target tech industry with those features. So this is something that, in future we would see, that rather than plain vanilla advertising, a single ad campaign being put across all the mediums, we would have these small niches, and builders would be targeting these niches through their strategic partner agencies. Sorry.
Thank you, Alok. I think Sapna is back on the screen, but I was trying to pull this a little longer, but she's not going to let us have our way. Thank you. Thank you.
But
thank you for every.
But Zahid, I think you brought in best from all our speakers today. And like Sudeep rightly said, happy customers make good business sense.
Absolutely.
So that is what the companies have to focus now. And as he said, now real estate is no longer the same it was earlier. And obviously targeted marketing and, like Alok said, targeted marketing, product offerings, others said has to be in sync with the customer's demands. And as Jayesh said, that the sales have to be in sync with what the customer is looking at. It's not always making a purchase, but making a customer realize what he needs. So that was some fantastic takeaways that I think we had from this discussion today. And thank you so much for being here with us, sharing your views and opinions, Mr. Zahid, for so well moderating the panel. And I'm so sorry we could not give you more time, although we have so many questions that probably we'll have to take it offline with all our speakers. Thanks, Adil, for joining today, and Mr. Jayesh Rathod for being here with us, Mr. Sudeep Bhatt for sharing those very valuable viewpoints with us, and Alok giving us the advertiser's perspective on this panel. So thank you so much, everyone.